It's time, people. Claudia, we're days away from the Rings of Power finally coming out on Amazon Prime.
No way.
We've led up so much to this, but before the release,
all the pain,
before we can really sink our teeth into things, there's been a final trailer
another
released
one
for us. Yeah, the final trailer. This is it. This is the
days
last thing
before the release.
Yep. For the marketing, and as well as looking at the trailer, we're going to look at some of the dislike ratios, because, you know, this trailer's been translated to different countries, so there's different channels for Prime Video, so we're going to see, is it just the Western cultures who are disliking this? Is it a worldwide phenomenon type thing?
Yeah.
And, as well, with this, you know, it being nearly released, people have had some sneak peeks in the first 2 episodes, and they've said their mind. Yes.
How'd they get that?
It's privilege, basically. That's how they've gotten them. So we're going to also look at those. So without further ado, let's head straight into things. And look, there hasn't... okay, I'm only 6 seconds in, but there hasn't been an annoying voiceover yet. It was actually... I anticipated something cringy and awful, but it led into a battle, which actually... Being completely honest, this has been the unexpectedly good. In the first 6 seconds, I'm not like...
First 6 seconds?
I'm not tearing my eyes out. I'm like, oh, okay, battle. Okay, you're setting the stage here, so let's keep watching.
That's Tolkien stuff.
My brother gave his life.
The guy he's fighting. Who's he screaming at?
You're right. He's not really looking in any direction. He's just screaming.
And he's not stabbed or anything.
He's just battle
stabbing
cry.
him from behind.
My brother gave his life hunting the enemy.
Voiceover.
But here is the thing with this voiceover, at least, okay? It makes sense because it gives us context for the story and what we've just seen.
Now I know that's her brother.
That's her brother.
That's what happens when you keep watching.
Yeah, but also in previous ones, like in the teasers, we got no... You know, what's the word?
No context?
No context. And look, to be teased, you have to understand what is being teased. In the previous ones, it's, there's worlds without wandering, and you have not seen what I have seen. Like, they were just these...
you have not seen what I have seen.
I've seen enough.
You have not seen
they're just memeable quotes, basically, now, where at least in this trailer, it being the official trailer, the one that finally comes out just near the end, actually gives us context, and now I understand, story-wise, what I should be excited for, okay? They're setting the stage now in terms of character development.
Can we just pretend that all the other ones were teasers?
I mean, they were teasers, but the fact that the marketing's been this awful up until now, I think Amazon, whoever was in charge of, your marketing, either sit down with them and go through what you did wrong, or fire them.
Instead of having instead of having like cool trailers and shots and stuff, we got the Bold and the Beautiful intro.
The Time magazine picture was also terrible. Bold and the Beautiful one, and also just the interviews haven't been about the story. It's been all about diversity and
are we watching a fantasy show or reality TV?
Basically, yeah, because that's what they were marketing as. So no, you're right.
His task is now mine.
Now,
a
single tear, his task is now mine. Obviously, the changing direction in terms of what we know in lore with Lord of the Rings and the Middle Earth. Galadriel isn't the fighter here. She's the more politician, She has fought in the past, but this debate's been had so much online now that we...
And I think he might have maybe written some things and then maybe tried to change it, or maybe deliberately leave some things different, kind of like how history is in real life. Different accounts of different things.
Yeah.
Nothing always straightforward.
Yeah, which is, look, good in terms of nuance and having interesting story. I'm just worried with what we've seen politically and agendas for the showrunners, they're going to just use that as an excuse to make whatever they want.
Oh, they're already doing that.
Yeah.
Even with stuff that is straightforward.
Yeah. Actually, you're completely right, because we've seen with characters, they're completely different now from what we've known them as in the books. Speak your truth.
This reminds me of something else.
Yeah?
These ships.
Generic fantasy? It reminds me...
That must be it.
Generic fantasy. Last Airbender, I think it is.
Maybe?
Are those the ships that I'm thinking of? Like the Water Tribe or Fire Nation ships?
Oh, it reminds me of I think Blood and Bone.
Okay.
Maybe that Netflix series that was from books.
Yeah. What do you think of the whole like, lyric, song, pop cover over the trailer?
Speak your truth.
That's just normal modern stuff.
I know, but
All
I don't
trailers
like
do
it.
this now.
I hate it.
Disney have been doing it for ages,
Oh,
making
it's
pop
such a
versions of
trope.
movie songs.
Also, the lyrics, speak your truth. You start off so good. Literally, this trailer started off good with the whole battle scene and it being awesome, and then you put that song in, I'm like, man, like it takes me completely out of the experience of like, this is Middle Earth, this is fantasy, this is...
It just reminds you that you are watching a fantasy show that was made today.
Yeah.
I want to hear, what's that song? When the cold of winter comes, do-do-do-do, the classic Lord of the Rings song.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear that with like, bard style, or soft and playing over it.
Playing on things.
And that, you know what that song would do? That would trick people into being nostalgic.
Yeah, they'd give
and
them
make
member
people want
berries.
to watch it even more.
Yeah.
We are blinded.
If they had the
by
rights
our
to it, maybe they
nostalgia.
should have done that, but also the marketing department, I don't think at all understand the target audience here.
No, this is like maybe millennial kind of stuff.
Stand with me. Ours was no chance meeting.
Such a night
Not fate.
is written in gold.
Like, I don't know what it is about this dwarf. Maybe it's just is it prosthetics when you have fake stuff on
Yeah,
you?
prosthetics.
Makes it feel like he's actually trying to be in character. Maybe that helps him a lot with having, all the makeup and prosthetics. Everyone else just feels like they are on some weird
Blank.
set and they've been directed to look epic, look amazing. And like, I get that in some contexts you need that. Like, it happens
Yeah.
a lot in the pop culture that we watch and consume. But
That was the same with the Brave and the Bold and
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah, that's what
When they did the spinny thing and everyone's like,
yeah, it's very staged.
then he
It
turns
doesn't
around
look
and
good.
you've got some character to him.
Yeah. And it's completely off to the genre and setting that we want, I think. And it again just takes me out of the experience when everyone's see, at least I feel like in the Lord of the Rings original trailers, it felt very it didn't feel staged, it didn't feel like a TV show. It felt like they had somehow brought a camera into that fantasy world and they were filming it because of the way that, that Gandalf spoke and how the hobbits reacted to things. Like, it was, a lot of the stuff just feels like they filmed it for the trailer and all the direction they got was, look cool, and then we'll try to fix it in post.
Yeah. Do you think maybe some of them are maybe blinded by how big what they're in is? Like, Lord of the Rings were big. Maybe they're trying to put on the grandiose...
Oh, they definitely are. When we get into the reviews, we'll talk about that because I think they're really trying to push at how great this show is going to be without actually giving any substance to what that greatness is. So...
Your destiny. Ours was the work of something great.
Like, again, they're just looking at the
Sexy
camera.
Sauron.
See, and also, the other thing I was thinking of, right, I watch K-dramas a lot, and there is a lot of this.
Oh, there is so much.
So much of this just looking at each other.
I watched a scene, they were looking at each other, and they were staring after something was said, and then the camera panned towards his face, and then the camera panned towards her face, and then the camera zoomed out, and then the camera zoomed in from behind us, like a wet window.
Yeah.
And it was just like 10 different shots of them staring.
But you
for
see...
2 whole minutes.
Do you like that?
Okay, it stretched... No.
It stretched too much?
Yeah.
I like it when they do it
for
properly.
a long
I think
time.
it does actually create emotion and stakes, and it slows down time for you to ponder on... Like, usually
Those
it happens
sorts
when
of things-
when they're revealing things.
Or
when
going to an ad.
Okay, I don't actually see that in my shows because my stuff's for streaming.
They're good for like just before. Don't you ever get the half?
Not
the
really,
halftime?
because usually the ones
They
I
do
watch...
that in anime as well. They do
Yeah.
the halftime of the show so you can have an
Well,
ad break.
My Korean dramas are like an hour and a half long. And they're made for Netflix, so they don't have any ad bits in them. But, like, it makes sense to have those looks and feelings when something's revealed, when something meaningful is said, because it creates emphasis on those words.
Yeah.
In this show, I feel like, in this trailer,
It's just
not
pretty shots.
they're not panning it out. It's not building any development in the story. It's not creating any character arcs. It's not making me excited for anything. It's just, look at this person.
I feel like they're trying to get, like, pretty shots.
Yeah.
Just to be like, hey, look, it's pretty.
Rita.
Don't say no. Let it unfold.
See, all of these, it's like, hey, look, it's pretty.
I'm going to ask you a loaded question, Claudia,
Yeah.
because I had a debate or confusion with Shad. Is that a he or a she? Or a they?
This feels like a loaded question.
Yeah. Because apparently we don't know anymore. Initially, in the other trailer, when it's like closer up, it looks like
Yeah.
a he, but I think people were just thinking that because, you know...
This looks
Enemin.
feminine,
But yeah.
but I don't know how that actor/actress identifies.
Which I'm confused about. Also, why... If they're meant to be a villain,
In
you
the
know...
context of the show, I'd probably be like, oh, androgynous looking character. Fantasy.
Yeah. And I don't know, I mean, I guess they're doing the thing that they're meant to do with this character, which is make me feel uneasy with their, like, just how uncomfortable I am looking at
Yeah,
them.
well, you've got a shot from below.
Yeah,
so
they're looking down on me.
powerful,
Yeah. But,
And they've got that 500 yards,
1,000
1,000 yard stare.
just like everyone else does in this.
Yep.
Just like the other guy who was screaming at the start. Ah! Just looking out into space.
Yeah, everyone's got that. Another, this is pretty.
But there's nothing in here. It is literally just a green field.
It reminds me of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but also there is... No, that was literally a couple of seconds of just CGI green
Filler.
area.
Just
It is a
filler.
river with rocks and grass and trees.
Half of this trailer just feels like filler.
Man, when
Why
you
does
got...
a trailer need filler?
You don't need filler in a trailer. So we've got our old man. People are assuming this is Gandalf or some sort of wizard person.
Okay. I mean, does Gandalf move like that?
Each of
I don't know. I mean, maybe they're going to change him.
Interesting.
Again, they're showing off monsters and creatures of
Yeah.
the world.
We're only
CGI.
we're not even halfway.
each of us. Everyone.
The pretty shot.
They're all just pretty shots, you're right. Man, it gets me worried though. I'm scared that it's just going to be, from the shots in this trailer, it feels like there's going to be a lot of standing. People just standing, looking cool in a nice CGI forest. And then voiceover. There's no actual... I guess
Everyone.
what they're trying to do is show the different sets,
Yeah.
present the different characters, but we've already seen that so much in the marketing
I
material
feel
of
like
this.
that's what trailers are these days.
I mean, some trailers give either not enough context in terms of
I
story.
went to the movie recently.
Yeah.
And like 3 of the trailers, I felt like I'd just watched the whole movie.
Yeah, and there's also ones that give way too much context. Like, is it Ambulance?
There's
a
either
recent movie that's come out.
nothing or everything.
Yeah.
There's no in between anymore.
The new Terminator... Oh, was it Terminator...
Is there another Terminator?
There
coming
was.
out?
No, not another one coming out now, I don't think. Probably, actually, in the development. But the most recent one, I didn't watch the movie. You know, it sucked anyways.
Oh,
Because,
Genesis.
yeah, because the whole trailer literally gave you everything. It even revealed the, like, plot twist at the end.
What?
It did everything. Where this one is not giving us enough, it's just showing us the set pieces and the big budget. Look at all these people standing around this queen. Also, where's the king at? And again, you know,
Maybe
more
he died recently.
pretty shots.
Must
Oh, no, there he is. Wait, so they're on opposing sides and they're looking at her.
Interesting.
Okay.
Is he the king or is he like some advisor or
I've heard
religious
that,
figure?
from my understanding, he's the king.
Okay.
She's the queen.
decide who we shall be.
Again,
1,000 yard stare.
Again, it would make sense somewhat if somebody said something in a trailer and then the character's like, what? reacting to like something that's been said or
Yeah.
done. But literally everyone is just
It'd
walking.
make more sense if there was, like, I don't know, a volcano exploding.
Yeah.
And everyone's looking at the volcano.
Yeah.
But we don't know what they're all looking at.
People were just walking into scenes going, my goodness.
No, they don't even talk.
In their head, they're thinking, my goodness, this $1 billion set looks crap.
It's so green.
It's so green and blue. What is with this? Although I've heard they've got practical sets and people love it in the Dwarven area, but whatever. We're just making jokes here because what is going through their heads during these shots? They've been paid so much money just to like stand and stare, unfortunately.
I am not the hero you seek.
Oh, so he's not sexy Sauron. He's gonna be a good guy?
We don't know. It could be, I reckon, a bait and switch where they make him be some likable character and then he's going to switch into Sauron. But apparently that's what people have...
He's got blood on his face.
Yeah. But he's, from Prime's perspective, from Amazon, they're saying he's a new character.
Oh.
He hasn't been revealed as Sauron, but people are assuming it's him in his human form.
Have we seen any of the characters interact with each other? Other than the Half-Foots?
Yes. There's part where the Queen and Galadriel are talking.
I haven't seen that one.
Where they're like, she's like, oh, it's worse than you
It
think.
looks
blah, blah,
like
blah.
a whole bunch of different stories.
Yeah, again, this is a shot we've seen before. But you're right. No, I don't like a lot of these. I mean, I guess that's what they're trying
I
to do.
don't know what the story is.
They're trying to say, you know, in this adventure, the story is going to be all these different areas and people, and then it's all going to come together in this big melting pot of a global catastrophe in Middle Earth. That's what I think, at least.
Whatever it was you did, be free of it.
One day this will be your kingdom.
What did she say?
Be free of it.
One day this will be your kingdom.
So
Aren't they married?
they are, and he is the prince of the dwarves. She's the Princess Deza, and so they are next in line
okay,
from
okay.
his father. So once his father goes, and they'll
Oh, I
become...
thought they were king and queen already.
Yeah, no. Apparently, that's part of. Look, there's interesting things in the story. Like, if you pitch this to me, in a room of like, you know, here's stories and things happening in this world I've created, I'd be interested. But with the amount of awful marketing for this show, I don't feel comfortable with what they're going to do.
If the pitch was that, was it Vanity where they did the spinning thing in the black with the faces, the bolt?
It was
Brave, Bold, and the
Entertainment
Beautiful
Weekly or
thing.
something.
Yeah, if they'd pitched that to me with that, I'd have nothing to say. I'd be like, what?
Yeah, I'd be like, what, is this a comedy? Is this a soap opera? What is this?
It looked like a soap opera, maybe.
Also-
a fantasy soap opera, or...
I don't know. It also gives me the impression there's going to be lots of talking and not much happening. We had the opening of the battle, and she's like, my brother died for this, and now it's going to... She's going to take it up. But then it's basically everyone going around and talking about things. And lots of, like, opposing shots. There's not as much action anymore. So I feel like it's going to be, like, either Kenobi or Wheel of Time, where there's set pieces of action, and the rest is just going to be people talking, and there's going to be no through line to certain things, because they're going to drop the ball in certain areas. That's just my speculation. We'll find out next week. Now, apparently, a lot of the set is practical. Don't know how much. I reckon it stops pretty close
At the
to...
bridge?
Yeah, like...
That looks like a practical bridge.
Like, yeah, I don't know how big certain things are, but I've heard that they did have, you know, the shrubbery and the water flowing, like all that stuff's practical.
Like, it could be maybe from, like, half, and then when it goes deeper, it's green screen.
But at the same time, I'm not feeling any kind of Tolkienism in this TV show trailer. It doesn't feel very Lord of the Rings to me. It still feels very generic fantasy.
It doesn't feel grand.
No, it doesn't. And they're trying to make it look grand and awesome. But also the music they're playing along with it isn't very, like, adventure-y fantasy, whatever.
There's no whimsy.
Yeah, exactly. So...
That's what I liked about Lord of the Rings, especially the music. It was all whimsical. Do-do-do-do.
It felt like you're going to go on a grand adventure. With
But
this
then,
one...
yeah, but then you get the hard-hitting moments and...
Yeah. Like what you would get on an adventure.
And you get the music to match. But, yeah.
And in this one, it's just like emo pop music of like, make your choice. Let's do what we gotta do. Yeah.
It's just very, very modern fantasy. Modern fantasy.
It's very boring as well. If I'm being completely honest, it's boring.
Choose not the path of fear, but that of faith.
1,000-yard stare too.
Yeah, you're right. They're not looking at anything.
He's literally not even
He looks
moving.
dead. He looks dead.
Well, it is going to be his kingdom soon. The other guy's kingdom
Yeah,
soon. I
yeah.
assume that's the Dwarf King.
That is the Dwarf King, but he just looks dead. He's just like, take me away from this mortal existence. Let me be in this show as little as possible.
But that of faith.
Then we get more pretty shots of...
That's the tree.
It's the tree, yep. And there's... Again, look, it doesn't look bad. Looking at the closer foreground, sets look very staged just because there's no real wear. And it's very clean, I guess. And having it very clean doesn't make it look as real because, you know, buildings get worn down.
I mean,
over
it makes
time.
sense. Or is this a new kingdom?
I mean, 1,000 years new, maybe?
It's not worn down like in Lord of the Rings.
No. Yeah, again, the 1,000-yard stare, looking at the camera, just being like, you're gonna like this show and enjoy it. I hope. Or I'll gaslight you on Instagram.
She looks like a pretty princess, not an elf.
There's no ears, though. Where are the ears at? And, like, through all the
I like her
marketing...
dress.
Through all the marketing, though, I have not seen her ears very often.
Huh.
Like, have you ever seen her with pointy ears? Don't think I've seen
I don't recall.
it. Yeah.
One thing we can do.
Look, an actual action shot finally came through, thankfully.
In slow motion? Was it in slow motion?
We can do.
Yeah, the person...
Yeah, because the person behind him's running.
One thing we can do.
It's at least been slowed down a bit. Look, we've got action shot again. Look, at least this landscape shot kind of gives us an idea of what's happening. There's a giant flood of people of some sort with torches, whereas the last shot was just green field. See, now if the torches weren't here, it'd just be literally a black screen.
Yeah.
So thank goodness they at least put the torches in.
Better than any creature in all Middle-earth. We stay true to each other.
The Halfwoods
And the half-foot's just going to be walking around,
hobbling around.
hobbling around.
They haven't figured out how to walk in their big feet.
We're having a nice dinner. Again, it doesn't feel as... Does this feel elvish to you? To me, it doesn't.
No, not really.
Also, you have all these nice fine things, and then your table is just like...
I was just thinking that.
It looks kind of gross. Doesn't look very polished or well kept. Like everything else is all glamorous and glory. And got
Yeah.
the trinkets and stuff, and
Like-
you're eating on a table. Like, okay,
I understand the aesthetic of having like a rustic table, but it's not polished.
have everything else rustic as well. Like what I'm saying is, people say, "Oh, Nathan, you're just pulling that out because you're trying to find flaws in
Yeah.
it." It would make sense to have a rustic table if everything else is rustic as well. Like if you had,
Unless they have they explain it like it's a fallen tree and we've cut it in half as a table and that's where we gather when we have the Feast of 9 Moons or something like that.
Probably not. Probably they're just going to be like, "Oh, let's have dinner at the table." But like, I'm calling it out because it just you
Yeah.
put care into these sets and you know.
Well, elven things are all... when you see, like, elven sets in
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, it's all refined.
Yeah.
Whether it's the forest elves or the waterfall elves, I don't know the different names for the elves, but everything is refined. There's no refinement in this table.
It also-
Even the background, it looks overgrown.
It looks messy.
We stay true to each other.
I don't know how I feel about her.
The hairs...
The hair, the style, they're very dirty. You know what I've realised? Okay, I just figured it out. Half-foots are like the medieval version of hobbits. And so what do people think medieval people were like? gross, dirty, crash, clean.
They're
so
also
they've made the halflings.
nomads, though.
Yeah, but you'd think you'd know how to, bathe in a river or a lake or something. You'd still clean yourself.
I don't know.
Our hearts.
Tiny hand.
Old guy, who's also staring. At least in this one we have context.
We know he's looking at something.
He's like, oh, I think you're going to last for this apple. I appreciate it.
Even
That's the most clarifying shot we've had in this
Yeah.
whole trailer.
Why is she wearing leaves in her hair?
Because
It's
rustic.
It's
and
not
it's
like a
modern.
crown that looks like she's weaved for herself. It looks like she's just stuck a bunch of leaves in her hair.
Mhm.
And maybe, I understand if it was for camouflage, then maybe they'd have more like green paint or like deliberate dirt rubbed in their face or something, or leaves sewn into their clothes. But it's just, oh, they walk around in the forest, let's stick some leaves in her hair.
Yeah, and look, they're setting this up for people to be like, oh, look, it's the hobbits and Gandalf, and they're going to go on a grand adventure. They're going to set that up, I think. If it's not in this first season, later seasons will have that arc.
Later seasons?
Yeah, there's 5 seasons of this show.
They already have 5 seasons greenlit?
Yeah, 5 seasons. $1 billion.
They're gonna make...
5. Yep.
What?
Yeah.
We haven't even seen the first one yet!
Yeah. I mean, Wheel of Time, Season 3 is being greenlit too. Season 2 isn't even out yet either.
I mean, I understand that because at least the first season is out. But the first season isn't even out for this one. They don't know how people are gonna... if people are gonna like it. They've already agreed
you're gonna
and
like it.
worked on 5
You're
seasons.
gonna like it, yeah. Because if you don't like it, then you're gonna be a hypocrite. Who knows?
bigger in our feet.
Like, this guy's just so dirty. He just looks like a medieval peasant. Look at him, though. He's like a medieval peasant.
Look at
Although
that hair.
he's the most hobbity person I've seen. But still... It does...
Hey,
Hearts. Even bigger in our feet.
Yeah, they have hearts even bigger than their feet. Is that like an anatomy course that he's giving her? It's like, well, you see, lass, our feet, they're this big, but our hearts, they're just a bit bigger.
would they consider they have big feet, or would they think everyone else has small feet?
You are very right, Claudia, because you think if they're in their own society, feet is feet.
Yeah.
You know, that's just the standard size. And so them
I
calling out...
wouldn't look at you and say, I'm short. I'd look at you and say, you're tall.
Exactly. So you know what? That's so true. That is so true.
Anyway, I guess that's just nitpicking.
No, but
I
that's
guess.
pointing out a good, like... No, because in his world mindset, he wouldn't think he has big feet.
And they're nomads. They walk around the forest. Do they go around meeting a lot of different
They're
races?
not supposed to, at least. They're meant to be, like, enclosed.
Recluse?
Yeah, reclusive. So, but no, you're right. Like, do the hobbits ever say they have big feet in previous adaptations?
I think if they mention their feet, if the feet are mentioned, it's not by them.
So, this guy wouldn't think he has big feet because to him, his feet are normal. That's a good thing to point out, though, Claudia. That's really good.
Pretty shot.
She's swimming in the water.
We can survive.
Was that Sexy Sauron?
That was the other guy, yeah.
So she's with him now.
Not sure. I've seen different
Because
shots.
we've seen her on the ocean.
Yeah.
And now we've seen him on the ocean.
Yeah. I've seen 2 different shots from him, or them both being separate, and then them being together. So, and there's also another shot they did separately where she was like, "Why? I found you on the beach. What are you doing here?" Like that, she discovers him. So I don't know if there's going to be 2. You know, he rocks up on a beach somehow, and then they go back on the boat together, and then stuff happens, or you know, story-wise, I don't actually know much
This
what's
is a
going on.
fantasy show. When you say stuff happens, you
Stuff?
think maybe stuff happens?
Oh no. No, I don't want that stuff to happen. No, Claudia, please, no. No, that's Amazon, please. I know you're gross and crass and you just love nudity and stuff, but please don't do stuff. Not in Rings of Power. Don't do the
Not the
No!
stuff.
No!
Not the
Don't have an
stuff.
intimacy coordinator. We don't need it. We don't need it. Please.
If it's not in the show, we don't need it, but I do believe in intimacy coordinators for the safety of actors.
Yeah, but I'm just, whenever they have that in the show, then I get annoyed because I know it's going to be, like Halo had it. Because you weren't there for that one. There was a sex scene in Halo.
Oh no, that was my first.
That was your first one? Yeah, that should have not been in there, right?
His first and my first. And her first. Everyone's first.
Well, now I feel uncomfortable. Misty Mountain.
Looks like a mouth.
Can survive this. You and I.
Of the mountain.
There's going to be so much of this between the two of them. There's going to be so much of, like, talk to me, Claudia.
Nathan,
What is it?
you have a freckle on the back of your head.
Thanks for letting me know. I already knew it was there. Claudia,
Yes?
we should keep filming this video.
I've become increasingly uncomfortable.
Me too, let's keep going. But, like, that's what... It's gonna be so awful to watch if it's just them being like, I'm talking to you while you're not looking at me and we're going to say things
She's
that the
doing the
scriptwriters...
1,000-yard stare.
Oh, and he's... yeah.
She's great!
Oh, feel the emotion for these two new characters in the Tolkien world. They weren't in the books. They're made up.
Do everything made up. Why didn't they just make up their own story for the Tolkien world?
Why even make a Tolkien world then? Why not just
'Cause
make
they
a
like
separate
it?
fantasy?
Well, it's
Because
like,
if it's so...
when people make fanfics. Some
Yeah.
fanfics are like really good, and you enjoy it because it's familiar. It's from a place you love. It's from settings you enjoy, and it's familiar, but it's new. This, I mean, they're trying to do both, old and new and familiar, all at once.
I mean, it is a fan fiction. It's not technically canon. But I think, look, you can... it would be better, though, just to take inspiration from Tolkien's work and make your own thing, because then you have more freedom to do stuff. While having those, you know...
And you don't get people complaining about
the
accuracy
law,
and
accuracy, all that sort of
lore and
stuff. But they need to have the titles and the franchise, otherwise it won't be successful.
There's a lot of that these days.
Yeah.
Riding on the coattails of famous actors in your show, or famous things, famous this, famous that.
Like
the
if
things you used to love and know and love.
Yeah, they're back again in a remake. See, if this was just generic fantasy title name that Amazon came up with, we wouldn't be talking about it, I don't think. People wouldn't be as excited or as controversially
Unless
invested.
they learnt how to do marketing better.
Oh,
Carnival Row.
Can you write a letter
that
to
was
them?
new stuff. People were
yeah.
ready for that.
But
I think.
generic fantasy, I don't know. Again, more shots of landscape, people walking. Which, I mean, I guess, you know, that makes sense for Lord of the Rings. There was a lot of walking.
Commander! Wait! No! We keep moving!
I don't like that. They're asking her to wait to help people behind her, and she's like, no, to keep moving. I understand in certain contexts.
That doesn't sound like Galadriel.
Yeah, she's like, we gotta keep moving. She's like a woman based on the mission. Whatever it takes, we're gonna do it. Good leaders, I don't think, have... Or they have that attitude where it needs to be.
Wolf packs.
Yeah.
The slowest is always at the front.
Mm.
The slowest sets the pace.
Yeah.
And then the alpha and the beta are at the back, making sure everyone's safe or something.
Yeah, so look, this doesn't give me any hope for Galadriel being a likable character either, because she's just gonna... I mean, she's like, my brother's dead, so I'm gonna finish his work. You're gonna kill other people on the way?
I mean, they can still be like that, not nice characters in the show, but still be interesting characters at least. So, I'm not hopeless, but... And, you know, it doesn't... It's previous Galadriel. She doesn't have to be exactly the same, because she can have a character arc within this where she becomes the Galadriel we know. Like Kenobi, I think they suffered with that a lot, trying to make Leia exactly the same as old Leia when she's not the same. She's younger. So I can see, maybe she's not the same Galadriel. Maybe there's a character arc. If I'm being hopeful.
Yeah, I just think as leader, you should...
Maybe this is where she becomes a good leader?
Maybe. Again, it's just like, what does media try to represent here? Is it trying to say that you should help people, or should you just like power through and do what you think is right because of the message or whatever else you're fighting for. I don't know, just the little subtle story things that I want to be uplifted and happy and have good values. Where here it's just like leave everyone behind.
That's not what fantasy is.
Yeah.
Nathan, fantasy reflects the real world and it's depressing.
Again, another empty landscape shot.
With what is that?
Something.
Looks like it's making smoke. A vehicle?
Surely not. What is that? I can't tell if it's like, maybe it's one of the...
I can't remember, was there a vehicle on top of an animal that we saw in one of these trailers, or was that a different fantasy trailer we reviewed? Because they're starting to all blend together.
Yeah, so look again.
Why do you keep
A vehicle.
Yeah.
fighting?
Hold on. What does he say?
No, we keep moving.
Why do you keep fighting?
There is a tempest in me.
An ear!
Huh?
An ear!
Oh, finally! Finally, there's seen a little bit of an ear. A little bit of an ear. But
There's gonna be a relationship between her and the
you reckon?
I'm not the hero you need guy.
That's annoying. Well, like, it's a frustrating because he's like, why are you fighting? Why are you being a hero? And then she's all just,
There is a tempest in me.
there is a tempest in me! That,
You shall have a queen!
and then we're getting shots. Oh, see, they cut out before the, because remember how she jumps on the sword?
Yeah, that
I
must
think-
be after this.
Oh, so the sword didn't kill it.
Or before? No, yeah, I think this is before maybe.
Yeah, then she's gonna jump with the sword.
And then
They cut
there
that
he
bit
is.
out.
Is that him there?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep, that's one of them at least.
It's just a bunch of stuff at this point.
And then again, more
Not that
landscape.
stuff, just stuff.
And then they're climbing up the mountain. Yeah, right. That is what Jeff Bezos wanted. He wanted more Game of Thrones, and you got it to him. He appreciates that.
Come on, Jeffrey.
You have fought
There's her brother's dagger.
long enough, Galadriel.
That now?
Yeah. Oh man, there were so many issues that Shad had with this in the initial teaser, and I don't
Yeah?
think they've been at all fixed.
Put up your sword.
Oh. Yeah, she's
Have
also...
we heard about her?
Yeah. She also doesn't exist. They made her up so that she could tell her brother off.
Numenorian?
Yeah, for being
Who's her brother?
the boat guy. I'm pretty sure. You know the guy you saw on the boat?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Ah,
her sister, his sister,
okay.
who didn't exist, but now she does to keep him in
And
line.
now her face is just there crying.
He's
There's so
feeling-
many different characters in this trailer not doing anything.
Oh, but he does. He.
Runs on some chains.
Explosion. That was another thing. People were like, "Hold on a second. Where'd you get an explosion from? Did they have oil or some sort? There wasn't any explosions that weren't magic related."
Maybe it's a magical explosion. Maybe it's like some spit from some dragon or something.
I reckon it's gonna, because you know how we saw the meteorite in some of the previous trailers and the sky came out of it?
Right,
Maybe that
right.
person has particular powers. This is just headcanon.
Maybe it's a meteor shower.
I mean, the rest is everything else.
Well, it's spread out.
If we go back. Did you see that? In the background there?
Oh, yeah.
There was something that fell and crashed, and that... But that doesn't look like anything had fallen. That's an explosion from a boat. But yeah, and then we get more awesome Galadriel. So that's funny. See, we get shots of her initially, like, barrel rolling. Then they cut out the part where she flies off a sword. Yeah, then they kept in where she actually defeated it.
Ah.
Without it, what might it be?
Without what? Oh, right, he said put up your sword.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing music.
So that was the trailer. That was interesting.
Wow, that trailer went for a really long time.
That was the 2-minute trailer. That was the
Oh,
official.
it was only 2 minutes?
That was the official trailer. Well, we break down trailers here. Okay, if you want to watch the full thing without any interruptions, then go watch it yourself. You're here for the commentary. So, yeah, that was the trailer. Along with that, we've got some trailer like ratios to dislike ratios.
Do we now?
Yes, because you'd think that was a pretty sick trailer, right? That was pretty awesome. It had some pretty good action in landscapes.
Such a great
People loved it.
trailer. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's not true.
No, it's not?
No, it's not true.
It's not
'cause
awesome?
It's not awesome. People don't think it's awesome. Some do. In the US, they had 29k likes
Yeah.
with 237 dislikes.
No. No.
That's a lot of dislikes.
That's a big ratio.
And then in Australia and New Zealand, it had just under 1,000, 858 likes, with nearly 9,000 dislikes. 9,000. That's insane.
I don't know, Nathan. I feel like this is saying something.
Yeah, well, in the UK as well, right? 3.7 likes, 27,000 dislikes.
I'm starting to see a bit of a pattern.
Even in India, okay? They have
India.
they have different versions of the trailer because there's different languages spoken in India.
Yeah.
In every single one of them, okay, disliked more. 457 to
You don't say.
1.9k, 2.5k versus 49. 49, holy crap. Even in like the more lesser spoken ones, even when the ratio is like really, really close.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
Are there more dislikes?
There are more dislikes. Sorry, Denmark has 4 likes. No dislikes. Everyone forgot about the Denmark video. Even Japan, okay.
Are these all taken from the same time?
Yeah. These are all taken this morning by me. So that was the reactions to the trailer. Now, with days away of the TV show coming out, some lucky people who aren't us got to see the first 2 episodes.
I'm so jealous.
I know. I'm so.
Hang on. I wish I could have
Seen it early.
seen it early.
They should just no. What are you doing working here? Work for Amazon. They'd hire you in a heartbeat. You already got like the size of a hobbit.
Do I have Middle Earth in my eyes?
Oh yeah, true. If they don't look at you and see Middle Earth, they're not going to hire you. That's right. But anyway, so there've been these initial reviews from people, and I think we should read some of them out kind of quickly and then talk about them. Do you want to read the first one here?
Okay. The Rings of Power is definitely a promising return to Middle Earth based on the first episodes. Stunning visuals, compelling characters, and a magnetic lead in Morfydd, the actress's Galadriel, who refuses to surrender the widely held belief that Sauron is defeated. Can't wait for more.
And then this other one says, the social media embargo is up for Lord of the Rings of Power. So I've seen the first 2 episodes. I've been skeptical, but I'm very pleasantly surprised. It is actually good. Very good. Visuals and tone are just right. In my opinion, a great addition to the Tolkien world.
2 episodes of The Rings of Power in, and so far, so good. The production value is pretty remarkable. One breathtaking visual after the next, and the level of detail in the costume and production design is something else. As for the story/characters... ... Have seen the first 2 episodes of Prime's videos, the Lord of the Rings series. Prepare to be blown away by the scale and scope of The Rings of Power. I don't know how they managed to pull this off, but they made a Lord of the Rings show feels like The Lord of the Rings. Okay, that would kind of be the expectation, like
I think.
Prerequisite?
Yeah, it's like, man, this show with lightsabers and spaceships really feels like a Star Wars show. Yeah. It's like Star Wars. Yeah, because it's meant to be. Okay, continue.
Okay, so the first 2 episodes of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power are a spectacular sight to behold. The scale, scope, ambition, and grandiosity is unrivaled on TV. It also has the laborious task of introducing so much necessary world building that it takes a bit to set flight.
Are they saying it's a slow start?
That's what I was saying in the trailer. Why are we seeing so many different stories?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's something else they've had an issue
They're
with.
doing. I feel like a lot of shows and movies these days. Like I'm feeling this with Disney as well. That everyone's trying to do too much. I'm feeling this with Lord of the Rings, especially the Disney Lord of the Rings that came out ages ago. It felt like too much. They're trying to put too much into it and not sticking to just a story.
I understand when they talk about things with world building, because growing up, okay, don't hate on me for this, which I already know the comments already have that prepared for me now.
Yeah.
I didn't like the opening monologue for Lord of the Rings. I was
Nathan!
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I was too confused. I was like, what is this? I don't understand it. But personally, okay, I get more engrossed in the world if you just give me the characters to love and enjoy, and then stuff with world building comes gradually that I begin to understand.
I like that with world building, gradually.
I think Lord of the Rings, they kind of need it in terms of, like, so when, you know, the ring's there, this and that, it's explained, because otherwise it's not really... But it's still explained, I feel like. I feel like you can take out that beginning monologue and you'll still understand the story completely. And so I think the problem with the, you know, taking time to world build and focusing too much on characters, it's not going to be a good watch. You're going to have to trudge through some sludge to make your way through the episodes, which is not good. That's not good media. The Rings of Power, the first 2 episodes, is better than the marketing materials would have you believe, but has work to do making the plot exciting. It feels massive and sets up the factions well, but pacing is off. The dwarves are already cooler than in The Hobbit. See, this is the only tweet I think I found, aside from one other maybe, that actually had some criticism for the show. Mm-hmm. But as you've seen, they had...
Well, there was one where... story/characters ...
Yeah. I don't know if they went to a separate thread, but they said, you know, actually the characters are great as well. It could do that, but here at least they are pointing out that the plot just does not feel exciting, which isn't very hopeful, because, I mean,
the trailers is trying to make you think it's some grand story that's so exciting
which they
and
do say
deep and stuff.
Like, you know, the factions are well, but the pacing's off and stuff like that. And also the fact that they defended the marketing material. They're like, okay, marketing, awful, terrible, isn't as bad as the show. Show, pacing's still off, kind of boring anyways. Okay, so everyone else is saying... Everyone's saying, you know, it's amazing, it's grand, it's beautiful. And this one person, good old Rob here, is just like...
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Rob, for giving us
Robbo.
something of a balanced review.
You want me to read the next one?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Watch the first 2 episodes of The Rings of Power, and it's a powerhouse of storytelling that reaffirms why I love Lord of the Rings and the kind of world building that empowers and inspires. Also, badass women. Can't forget about them. That was a love heart emoji.
Yeah. Great. Because I didn't get that from the marketing. How are the men, though? I'm a bit worried I'm going to find any men I can relate to, because, you know, as a man, I need something I can relate to.
What? You like men?
I like men role models. Don't put this on me, Claudia! Gosh! Okay, I'll just read the next one and move on from that comment. Yep. I've seen the first 2 episodes of The Lord of the Rings of Power!
Woo!
So far, it's incredibly fun and promising, but moreover, gorgeous. Watch on the biggest screen you can. My only caveat is I can easily see how the plot could fall apart beyond episode 2. Or totally rule. Okay, can we just...
I'm going to watch it on my iPad, probably.
Biggest screen in the house. If that's the iPad, that's the iPad. Oh, jeez, that comment though, where it's like, it's so fun, it's so promising, but I can also see how it can totally fall apart.
That doesn't sound promising.
What? After episode 2, you're like, well, damn, this could just be awful.
This could just crash and burn.
Or could not.
But it's promising.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good, everybody. That's not good. Here's my issue with all of this. They are so animate on saying how good it looks. It's so pretty. It's so spectacular.
Even the trailers are doing that to us.
It is bigger than life. But goodness forbid us from talking about the characters or how the plot is going. Because anytime someone mentions that, they kind of go, So, look, unfortunately, we didn't get early access to this. I even saw, actually, there were early screenings in Australia at some of the cinemas. But people
I didn't know about those.
People went online to sign up for it, and within the first few seconds, completely sold out, gone. No one got any tickets. Apparently, somewhere handed out to some special guests of certain cinemas.
Yes.
But from what I'm seeing is that these early review copies are very selective. And you know, another thing that Despara actually talked about in his video was that if you get those reviews early on, so right now they can't release those reviews still. They can like give some of their impressions, but they can't talk about the story or whatever.
Yeah.
But once that show comes out, guess what? They're the first ones, and guess what? Then that puts them at the top of the algorithm. While the rest of us have to fight through to talk about our opinions, it's giving them an unfair advantage, especially with these people who are probably going to be, you know, dare I say, liking the show because they're showing favoritism already with Amazon and stuff like that. So
they're going to be getting access to probably everything from then on.
Everything
Early
else.
access. If they like it.
Like if Prime and like Amazon had the balls and the confidence in this show, they would give people who clearly aren't supportive of their work a copy, early review copy, some way or another, because then they could prove us wrong. But no. They're just going to wait for the show to come out, and then we're going to judge it and look through. So we'll see how that all turns out.
In a couple of days.
In a couple of days. It comes out September 2nd. For us right now filming this, it is currently the 25th. So next Friday it comes out for us.
Huh.
But yeah, so this has been the Rings of Power, a nice big chunky plot of news. Yeah, look, this is the end of the beginning. Once this show comes out, we're going to go full steam ahead with these reviews and seeing whether our speculations were right or wrong. And we hope that you all stick around for this because it's going to be one heck of a journey. So we're going to stay watchful and we hope you all do as well.